The warning is the mercy.
That isn't a softening of what's coming, it's the opposite. Allah names Jahannam 77 times in the Quran. 77 times, describing a place He does not want you to enter. He tells you what the water tastes like. He tells you who is standing at the gate. Nobody describes a road in that much detail unless they are trying to stop you walking down it. And the last mention we reach isn't a description at all. It's an instruction addressed to you and to the people asleep in your house tonight. Mention 1. Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 24. If you cannot do this, and you never will, then beware of the fire prepared for the disbelievers, whose fuel is men and stones. Notice the word Allah chooses, prepared, not will be prepared, already, built and waiting long before you were born. And notice what He says it burns, not wood, and M.A.S, people, and stones. Many scholars said those stones are the idols people carried, the things they chose over Allah, thrown in beside the ones who chose them. Whatever you loved more than Him goes in with you. And later in the same surah, Allah quotes the people who were certain none of it applied to them. Mention 2. Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 80. They say, the fire will only touch us for a few days. Say to them, have you received a promise from God? For God never breaks His promise. Or are you saying things about Him of which you have no real knowledge? Read it again. They don't deny the fire, they negotiate with it. A few days, a short stretch, a formality, then out. This is the most human sentence in the Quran on this subject, because it is what almost everyone says quietly to themselves. Not, I will not be punished. That takes real disbelief. Just, not for long, not really, not me. And that quiet arithmetic doesn't begin with denying Allah. It begins somewhere far more ordinary, in how a man handles money that was never his. Mention 3. Surah An-Nisa, verse 10. Those who consume the property of orphans unjustly are actually swallowing fire into their own bellies. They will burn in the blazing flame. Allah doesn't say they would one day be punished with fire. He says they are swallowing it, present tense, while the meal is still warm. The orphan is the one person with nobody to complain on their behalf. No father, no tribe to demand it back. So Allah appoints Himself their advocate, which makes Jahannam far closer than people assume, not only for those who deny Him, for the man who prays and fasts and quietly takes what someone else cannot fight him for. So what does that swallowed fire actually do? Mention 4. Surah Ibrahim, verse 17. Which he will try to gulp but scarcely be able to swallow. Death will encroach on him from every side, but he will not die. More intense suffering will lie ahead of him. Death will encroach on him from every side, but he will not die. Sit with that. In this life, suffering has a ceiling, and the ceiling is death. That is a mercy, and almost nobody recognizes it as one. Here, Allah removes it. The exit under every human being's feet since the beginning is sealed. And then the verse adds something worse. More suffering still lies ahead. This is a place with no floor, so what is it like to approach one? Mention 5. Surah Al-Furqan, verse 12. When it sees them from a distance, they will hear it raging and roaring. Read the grammar carefully, because it isn't what you expect. It doesn't say when they see it, it says when it sees them. Allah gives the fire the verb. It is the one doing the looking, from far off, before they have even arrived. And what they hear is not a noise anything without feeling would make. Raging, roaring. The Arabic carries fury in it. Every punishment a person can imagine is inert. A prison doesn't want you there. This does. And Allah tells us exactly what that fury is directed at. Mention 6. Surah Al-Mulk, verse 8. Almost bursting with rage, its keepers will ask every group that is thrown in, did no one come to warn you? The rage is not aimed at the people, it is fury on behalf of Allah, at those who spent an entire lifetime denying Him. And then comes the question, not what did you do, not why did you sin. The keepers of Jahannam ask one thing, did nobody come to warn you? Of everything Allah could have chosen for the first words at that gate, He chose a question about warning, because the whole case rests on it, which makes the answer that comes back in the very next verse the most frightening line in this video. Mention 7. Surah Al-Mulk, verse 9. They will reply, "Yes, a warner did come to us, but we did not believe him. We said, 'God has revealed nothing, you are greatly misguided.'" Yes, a warner did come. They don't argue, they don't claim they were never told. Standing at the edge of it, every excuse a person spends a lifetime rehearsing simply evaporates, and what's left is a plain admission. We were warned, and we decided the warning wasn't serious. You are, at this moment, receiving a warning. That is what this is. 77 mentions, and you have heard 7, which is exactly where Allah stops describing the fire and starts explaining, in His own words, why He has been describing it at all. Mention 8. Surah Al-Zumar, verse 16. They will have layers of fire above them and below. This is how God puts fear into His servants. My servants, beware of me. This is the halfway point, and where everything turns. Allah has just described layers of fire above and below. Then He stops and explains Himself. This, He says, is how God puts fear into His servants. The descriptions have a purpose, and the purpose is not cruelty. It is fear, the useful kind, that makes a person change direction while there is still road left. And look what He calls them in the same breath. My servants, not enemies, not the damned, His. The warning is the mercy. From here it gets heavier, and now you know why. Mention 9. Surah An-Nisa, verse 56. We shall send those who reject our revelations to the fire. When their skins have been burned away, we shall replace them with new ones, so that they may continue to feel the pain. God is mighty and wise. There is a mercy hidden in the way our bodies are built. Burn a nerve badly enough, and it stops reporting. The body protects you by going numb. Pain has a limit, and that limit is damage. This verse removes the limit. New skin, so the pain stays new. It is the second time Allah has removed a ceiling on suffering we never thought to be grateful for. But one detail is harder to hear than any of this, and it is about their faces. Mention 10. Surah Al-Mu'minun, verse 104. The fire will scorch their faces, and their lips will be twisted in pain. The English here is gentle. The Arabic word is kalihun, the lips drawn back off the teeth, the expression a skull has. Notice what Allah is describing, not the pain, the face. Of everything He could have told us about that moment, He tells us what a person looks like. Because the face is where a human being is recognizable. It is how your mother knows you, how your children know you, and here it is pulled into something nobody would recognize, which is why the first thing they beg for is not an end to the burning. Mention 11. Surah Al-A'raf, verse 50. The people of the fire will call to the people of paradise, "Give us some water or any of the sustenance God has granted you." And they will reply, "God has forbidden both to the disbelievers." They could ask for anything, rescue, another chance, an hour outside. They ask for water, a little water, poured, the smallest request in the Quran and the most human thing in this subject, because it is what somebody asks once they have stopped hoping for rescue. And notice who they call to, not to Allah, to people they knew, neighbors, brothers, the ones who used to pray while they watched. And when they finally ask for what they actually want, the answer is one sentence long. Mention 12. Surah Al-Zukhruf, verse 77. They will cry, "Malik, if only your Lord would finish us off." But He will answer, "No, you are here to stay." They have given up on release. They are asking now to be killed. And they don't even address Allah. They call the angel at the gate by name, the way you would beg a guard rather than appeal to a judge. Malik, ask your Lord to finish us. The answer in Arabic is 2 words, Innakum makithun. You are staying. No argument, no anger, just a door closing. In a subject full of noise, the roaring, the crying out, the bursting rage, the most terrifying line is delivered flatly. And that is where the descriptions stop. Everything after this is about the way out. Mention 13. Surah Al-Imran, verse 185. Every soul will taste death, and you will be paid in full only on the day of resurrection. Whoever is kept away from the fire and admitted to the garden will have triumphed. The present world is only an illusory pleasure. Here Allah defines success, and it is the only place he does it this plainly. Whoever is kept away from the fire and admitted into the garden, that person has triumphed. Everything else is left out of the sentence. Not the wealth, not the name, not the years, not what anybody said at the funeral. One criterion. And read the verb. The Arabic is zuhziha, to be dragged clear, pulled back from an edge. Not whoever escapes, whoever is moved by someone. Which leaves a question worth sitting with. Who is doing the moving? Mention 14. Surah Ghafir, verse 7. Those who carry the throne and those who surround it celebrate the praise of their Lord and have faith in Him. They beg forgiveness for the believers. Our Lord, you embrace all things in mercy and knowledge, so forgive those who turn to you and follow your path. Save them from the pains of hell. Look at what the angels who carry the throne of Allah spend their existence doing. They are praying for you, not for themselves. They were never at risk. The closest creatures to Him, and the supplication Allah records from them is, save them from the fire. And notice how they open it. Before asking for anything, they name Him by His mercy. Somewhere above you, right now, that dua is being made for people who turn back. And Allah tells us what it is like for the ones it is answered for. Mention 15. Surah Al-Anbiya, verse 102. They will not hear a murmur from it, and endlessly they will enjoy everything their souls desire. Remember mention 5, the fire they heard raging long before they saw it. Here Allah promises the exact opposite, and He is oddly precise. Not they will be far from it, not they will be safe. They will not hear so much as a murmur of it. Hasis, the faintest sound a thing can make. A strange thing to promise, until you have lain awake listening to something you were afraid of in another room. Distance isn't safety, silence is. He is not only taking them out of the fire, He is taking the fire out of their awareness. And having shown you all of it, He stops describing and gives an instruction. Mention 16. Surah At-Tahrim, verse 6. Believers, guard yourselves and your families against a fire fueled by people and stones, over which stand angels, stern and strong, angels who never disobey God's commands to them, but do as they are ordered. Here is the loop closed. 77 mentions, and this one is not a description at all. It is a command, and the person addressed is a believer, somebody who already prays. Guard yourselves and your families. Notice the order. Yourself first, then your house, because a man who isn't guarding himself has nothing to hand him. And notice the fuel, people and stones. Word for word the same Arabic as the very first mention we looked at, back in Al-Baqarah. Allah opens the subject and closes it with the identical phrase. Everything in between exists, so this one sentence lands on somebody who can still act on it. You have been warned. That is the mercy, and you still have tonight. So here's what to carry out of this. Allah describes the fire so that you never have to see it, not to frighten you into despair. He called the audience for those descriptions, my servants, and He placed angels around His throne, asking that you be spared. A warning that detailed is not a threat. It is what you give someone you want back, and it arrives while there is still time to turn. Tell me in the comments which of the 16 landed hardest on you, and if this made you stop for a moment, subscribe. May Allah protect you and your house from it, and never let you hear so much as a murmur of it.